Friends, welcome. This is a moment where we choose to pause at the threshold. It is an important practice to take a breath. Yeah, exactly. To acknowledge the beginnings and endings that bring us here. Kate Bowler writes a blessing for moments such as these, so I invite you to hear her words. Blessed are we, standing in the hallway, between closed doors and ones still to come, between the old and the new, between the worn in and the doesn't quite fit yet, between who we were and who we might become. Blessed are we who take a minute to look over our shoulder at all we learned from what was, the people we became, the people who loved us into becoming, the peace that came with familiarity. Blessed are we who trust this timing and who open our hearts anew to change, to new friends, to hope. Nervous, maybe heavy-hearted, but brimming with gratitude for a life so beautiful that it hurts to say goodbye. Blessed are we, turning our eyes ahead toward a new path not yet mapped. May we take this next step with courage, and the one after that, too. Amen.
Good afternoon. You may be seated. It is really a privilege and a joy for me to welcome you officially to Juniata at the end of your first day of classes. I've had the opportunity to say hello to some of you these past few days. I was able to greet you at your picnic on Tuesday night. I attended several of the programs in which you've been participating these past few days, including the Braver Angels Dialogue and the Introduction to Juniata Traditions and Juniata Spirit, which took place in this auditorium on Tuesday, as well as the candle lighting ceremony, which is one of my favorite moments as we start the year. So by now, you likely have come to appreciate that you are at a special place, and we believe this is a special moment. You've also figured out we love tradition. We see value in ceremony for lots of reasons, I suppose, because they bond us as a community, they allow us to celebrate milestones, and they give us a chance to honor one another. So you can look forward to participating in many traditions in the next few months. Lobster Fest, Storming of the Arch, Tenting, Magical. There are so many traditions, you might be wondering why we have this particular event in the midst of all that you've experienced the past few days. Well, this opening convocation formally begins the academic year, and it connotes the official start of your college experience. That experience, we understand, educates the whole person, to be sure, but it is fundamentally academic, and it is about a pursuit that will culminate in the attainment of your degree. So this particular event, I think, underscores the power of tradition and of ritual. It affirms what has come before and the foundation on which you will build these next few years. And so while maybe this convocation is a little more ritualistic than some of our other traditions, I think it matters in setting a tone for your college experience. You can see your faculty gathered beside you so that as a collective, they can affirm your membership in this community. You may not experience them gathered as a group in quite the same way until you graduate, or at least gathered wearing their academic regalia or their academic costume that dates back to the Middle Ages and the rise of the modern university. So it may seem a bit stuffy to you. It may seem goofy. I can tell you it feels stuffy to the people wearing them in August. But we don these funny hats and gowns not because we seek to be pompous, but because we want to demonstrate to you a seriousness of purpose and to convey a reverence for our work and for each of you. Reverence is defined as regarding with deep respect, coupled with love and perhaps awe. Now, you may have noticed we try not to take ourselves too seriously at Juniata. You may have experienced that in enrollment events when you were deciding where to attend college, at orientation, the past few days. I said to you on Tuesday night that we are a place that likes to have fun. And that may be one of the reasons you decided to be a Juniata student. But don't confuse that sense of fun with our obligations to you. We take our work quite seriously because we believe in you. We believe in the transformative power of education grounded in the liberal arts, and we believe in your potential to change the world. So all of this, participating in a Juniata education and affirming all that it means, is worthy of ceremony. It is worthy of ritual. We gather this afternoon to offer you some insight and some perspective as you embark on this grand adventure. We want to welcome you to this community, and we want to do so with joy and affection, confidence, with love and with awe, indeed with reverence. And that sense of joy and fun, that notion that we take our work seriously without taking ourselves too seriously, that belief in the power of a Juniata education that is matched by a deep and abiding commitment to each of you is embodied so very well by our president. Please join me in welcoming President Jim Troja.
It's great to see you all. Good afternoon, and officially, welcome to the 149th year of Juniata College. This is the official beginning of our academic year, as Dr. Bowen just talked about. It is awesome to see all of you, and it's been great to see you the past couple days as you've moved in. It was great to meet many of you this morning at Coffee on the Quad. Anybody get some dog hair on them this morning? Yes, probably so. Met Lainey and Lila on the quad. What a beautiful morning it was as we begin this next semester. Appreciate those of you who came up and introduced yourself. I'm looking forward to meet so many of you in the coming weeks. You know, each fall I review my notes from the previous year. I think about the timing, I think about the message, I think about my own reflections as your president. As my hair gets a little bit different colors, as I grow more wrinkles, as I get more seasoned in my job as your president, I've noticed I've become much more, how shall I say, reflective on the how of what I do rather than the what. As I head into my 12th year at JC as your president, the what has become much more instinctive because of the experience I have gained in this role. However, it's a how that when I think about the welcoming of 400 plus new students to this campus community, this continues to evolve for me. This past spring, when I had a generous opportunity to step back for a few months while on sabbatical, I had a chance to read more than maybe what's normal, which was really terrific. A book that really resonated with me, and I shared some things with our faculty just yesterday, and I think it will help me with my how this year and into the future. That book, called Relationship Rich Education, How Human Connections Drive Success in College, I was just told too that is part of your freshman first year seminar. You're using a version of this text, which I think you're going to really enjoy. I'm not going to read the book. I'm not going to read passages to you this afternoon. I'd like to just share some very high-level takeaways that I think are relevant for this awesome journey that you are about to commence. First and foremost, okay? What the authors found in their research is that students learn best in an environment characterized by high expectations, but also high support. Give me thumbs up, you hear that. High expectations, high support. and foundational to the success. With that as a critical part of it, they found that it's not whether human connections drive college success. We have known that for a very long time, particularly here at Juniata. But rather how these connections are developed and with whom. Peer-to-peer, student to faculty, student to staff, student to coach. All of these relationships are the foundation of learning, belonging, and most importantly, achieving in college. And it's not just important to have relationships with one person, one advisor, one coach. It's about a constellation of relationships. What they characterize as an overlapping group of individuals that are going to help you be successful and to explore the big questions of your young lives. The authors challenge faculty, staff, and administration like myself and others to see you, to listen to you, to encourage you, and yes, challenge you to exceed your own expectations. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit dangerous right now, and I can't believe I'm going to do this. And seeing a Steelers shirt in front of me, I'm a little nervous. Because you see, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I know. Go ahead. I love you. You're going to be successful. So, you can get it out right now. I was born and raised and have been a fan my entire life. Okay? It's my hometown. It's where I grew up. But Mike Tomlin, young man, Mike Tomlin, I will give him credit. He's a good coach. He's a good man. He said this that's related to high expectations. And I quote, "It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do." I know plenty of people who are capable, but few who are willing. Mike Tomlin, as difficult as it is to admit, is spot on. It's about doing the work and making excellence a daily habit. It's the last time I'm going to vote anything with Pittsburgh Steelers. Students, I promise you, as you think about the road ahead, there is no greater gift, I mean no greater gift, than having people around you to push you to heights you didn't know was possible and encourage you at moments that you most need it. By the way, you are not in this room if we didn't think you could succeed here. We know you're capable. The willingness and that effort is up to you. But I'm confident that each one of you are up to that challenge. So to conclude, relationship-rich education, human connections, important. The authors suggest there are 4 core principles. Think about these as you begin this part of your young life. Number 1, every student must experience genuine welcome and deep care. And if I had to guess, that's partially why you chose us, because you feel that. Your parents felt that. I hear that from them, from you. That's number 1. Number 2, every student must be inspired to learn. Some of that inspiration is up to you, of course. The rest of it is up to us as an academic community to get you excited and enthusiastic about learning, both inside and outside the classroom. Number 3, every student must develop a web of significant relationships of what I talked about before. And number 4, and very important, I think this is part of what's at the core of a great liberal arts college, is every student must explore questions of meaning and purpose. Yes, you're going to be educated about your particular discipline, but we hope you have time and the energy and the want to understand what's coming next for you about meaning and purpose. And this community will be with you every step of the way as you navigate this important time of self-discovery. Students, as we begin our semester together, these next 4 years together, it's my sincere hope that you remember some of the things that we all learned when we were toddlers at the beginning of this thing called school. Share, play fair, treat one another with simple kindness and respect, with compassion, and grace. From our humble beginnings roughly 150 years ago, we have always valued cooperation and kindness, curiosity and courage, peace and inclusion, all attributes that are foundational to the collegiality and community that we enjoy. Students, I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. Again, welcome to your new home.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce a student leader who will provide a student perspective to the class of 2028. Himanish Panja is the president of your student government. He's studying biochemistry with a secondary emphasis in psychology. Himanish is also involved on campus as a resident assistant, works at the Center for International Education, and in his free time, he enjoys getting to know people over a game of chess. Please help me welcome the 2024-2025 President of Student Government, Himanish Panja.
What a great day, What a great day to have a first day of class, right? But I think the best first day of class is to have no class at all. Good evening, everyone. My name is Himanish, and I'm going to be your student government president for this academic year. And seeing you all here reminds me of my first year, which involved a lot of, I cannot say that word, drifting. I'll say drifting. It brings back the memories where you drift all night long, going from places to places, and you have no idea where you might end up next morning. Coming back to topic, I was sitting exactly where you guys are 3 years ago. A lot has changed. We got a newly refurbished Rosenberger Auditorium. We got a brand new class of 2028, and we got a brand new student government president, that's myself. A lot has changed since my convocation, except our wonderful senior leadership team, which they're always here to support you. I'm not just saying to butter them up. But no, they're wonderful, they're here to support you, and they will be here to support you. What a way to establish my authority, right? Nah, I can't do that, that's not my job. My job as a student government president is to listen to your concerns. Take your feedback, what's working on campus, what's not, and make sure administration hear your voices, right? That's what I'm here for. Reflecting on my own journey, I remember seeing those ideal Juniata student videos where there's a guy who plays 2 different varsity sports, organizes a dozen events, and attends every single club meeting, and that guy's like a superhero. You don't have to do all of that, and neither did I. You just have to find what excites you. Go to a club, start a study group, play a sport, or perfect a research lab techniques, anything that you guys want, that's here for you. My advice is simple. Engage with the community in a way that pushes you out of your comfort zone and at the same time helps you be in your comfort zone. Even if you fell in love with the Juniata from day one, you might just be in the honeymoon period. What I found out was Juniata grows on you. It's not like, it's like, I didn't know I needed this place, but now I do. This is my home. As Juniatans, you will quickly learn that we are all about community. We hold doors open for people who are still 300 feet away. Run fast. We support each other in academics, athletics, extracurriculars, and we make connections that last a lifetime. Some great, some good, and some, well, you should not have too many access. Seriously, the relationship you build here will be some of your greatest assets of your time here. And speaking of making connections, let's talk about clubs. Juniata has a club for every single thing. I even think there's a club for people who likes to be alone, except there is no meeting for this club. Over the next 4 years, you will be surrounded by around 1,300 people every year, and you will want to meet more than just your roommate, right? So go out, go to a club, or do something to engage in the community. You've probably heard about Lobster Fest, right? During your campus tour, it's a magical day where you get a buttered lobster and you sign up for clubs. Don't go on the yet and just write me off. There are vegan options available too. Well, Lobster Fest can be quite overwhelming because there are so many clubs and you will sign up for a few. More than few, I'm pretty sure. But here's my advice. Sign up for at least 15 different clubs. Right? No, I'm telling you, sign up for at least 15 different clubs. Go do the first meeting of 8 of them, second meeting of 5 of them, and by the third meeting you will know which 3 clubs you want to go, you want to spend your time with, and you will know that club is pushing you out of your comfort zone as well as keeping you in there. Also, come find me at student government table at Lobster Fest. So if you want to advocate for fellow students and make your campus better, come find me at the table. I had to do my plug-in somewhere, right? One last piece of advice, and this is the most important one. Go to class. Like, I'm not gonna get a PhD and like go to like a TEDx Talk YouTube channel and tell you in a dynamic storytelling way, but go to class. Just attend your classes, and believe or not, you might actually learn something very useful. And even if you don't, our professors are very nice. They're the most wonderful human being I ever met. And just a heads up, make sure you prepare a fun fact about yourself before you go to classes, because that's our go-to icebreaker for professors. I had so many fun facts prepared for myself, I could teach a class about that. So finally, welcome, class of 2028. Have an awesome and productive year. And if you see me around campus, come talk to me, introduce me, and make sure you tell me a fun fact about yourself. And remember, no underage drifting, and definitely no drifting the night before Mountain Day. Have a great year, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimenez, for your welcome to this class. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the recipient of the 2024 Henry H. Class of 57 and Joan R. Gibble Award for Teaching Excellence to offer you a faculty perspective. This award is given each year to a faculty member with fewer than 6 years of service who contributes meaningfully to the academic program, who is actively engaged in scholarship, and exemplifies effective teaching. This year's recipient and speaker does all that and more. When she was nominated for this award, the students and faculty who nominated her said that Dr. Katie Hildebrand, Assistant Professor of Education, is intelligent, passionate, has a genuine love of teaching, and a commitment to her students, who they are, how they learn, their aspirations, and their goals. Students and colleagues describe Dr. Hildebrand as transformative, but mostly she is valued because of her authenticity that brings out the best in her students. She models all that she wants and expects good teachers to be. Dr. Hildebrand earned her PhD from Penn State University, and she earned her bachelor's degree from Juniata College. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Katie Hildebrand.
President Troja, Provost Bowen, members of the Platform Party, faculty, staff, friends, and guests of honor, the class of 2028. To all of you, I say, welcome home. Class of 2028, you may be wondering why I'm welcoming you home to a place you've been for merely a few days. First, on behalf of all of us, we are ecstatic that you've chosen to seek new opportunities, engage in our academic community, forge new friendships, and face challenges boldly. Your next 4 years will be the newest chapter of your life, and those pages are about to be written. Second, let me share some thoughts on the word home. While home is often thought of as a physical space, In today's context, I'd like you to consider it as an emotional connection where you feel a sense of belonging and comfort, a place where you feel at ease. I share this with you because this is how I depict Juniata. So, it's okay to laugh. That is me 27 years ago. I know you're all laughing at the cutting-edge technology from 1997. My children begged me not to share that photo. My 13-year-old daughter said, "Mom, that's so embarrassing," head and eye roll fully included. And my son, 10, said, "Mom, you've got no riz." So, why am I choosing? Because it's a choice to share this glamorous photo of myself from 1997. Exactly 27 years ago, I was a first-year student at Juniata College sitting in this exact space as you. I remember feeling so conflicted with such mixed emotions about this new and unfamiliar space. While this may be a surprise to some, rural Huntington, Pennsylvania was a bit of culture shock to someone who grew up in Rutherford, New Jersey, part of the New York City metropolitan area. I was instantly homesick, and as my parents can attest to, I cried the entire 4-hour ride here. They still talk about the tissues they found jammed in the back seat of the car later on that day. But when they pulled away, and with tears in my eyes, I waved with a forced smile. With perfect timing, my RA swung by and reminded me that I was about to be the author of my latest journey. She was right. I immediately remembered why I chose Juniata. It was the tour that sealed my decision, a tour given by David Meadows. He shared with me that Juniata is a special place and it's a community like no other. I felt the most at ease when I visited Juniata College, and during that tour, I knew it was a community that I wanted to be a part of. And when I recalled that memory, a calmness came over me, and I walked out of my dorm room in Lesher Hall and quite literally bumped into my first Juniata College friend, Kelly Wynn. We became fast friends. And when I recall that first day on campus, I had so many different emotions, and perhaps some of those emotions resonate with you. It's okay to feel conflicted, sad because you miss your old familiar community, and excited to embrace this new one. Remember, those mixed emotions can all coexist. So now, as your Juniata journey begins, today you've attended your first college class, and you survived. Congratulations. Navigating a new space can push you outside of your comfort zone. When I think about my very first semester here, it's the writing course that comes to mind. Writing was not something that came natural to me, and as the semester marched on, the professor encouraged us to come to his office hours. He shared tips on being a better writer, sharing strategies, and even made some grammatical corrections on my paper. And I sort of thought, how do I not know this? I'm in college. During one of our many conversations, he asked me, he said, "Katie, why do you have so many drafts of every single paper?" I knew the answer. It was so that I could earn an A in this class. He paused, and in his words of wisdom, Professor Shung assured me that this course was much more than earning an A. Well, I may have only been 18, but I knew he was wrong. Of course it's about the A. It's always about the A, isn't it? And while I completely disagreed with him that day, I established a relationship with him that continued throughout my 4 years here at Juniata College and beyond. So when I reflect on that page of this chapter, I'd like to encourage you to take advantage of the time with your professors. You might feel a little bit uncomfortable going to your first office hour, but I assure you, we want you to come. We're waiting for you to come. Ultimately, the success of our students is our success, and you are the future of this institution. We want to support, challenge, and encourage you. The lessons I learned from Professor Shung helped set me up for success later down the line when I learned struggling is okay. I needed a general education course and opted for a course that I knew nothing about with a professor I didn't know, but it had a fancy title. And my good friends, Adam Titter and Aaron Kirby, said, "Katie, you have to take this class with us." So I did. I enrolled in a course entitled Erotic and Ascetic Cultures of India. In the first few sessions, when the professor posed a question, I avoided eye contact. I knew he wouldn't call on me, but he knew that trick. So when he posed a question and I heard Miss Hildebrand, all I could think of, I don't think I belong in this course. Dr. Kapan forced us to think critically, engage in discussion, write papers about challenging topics. I dug deep, I found some grit, and then Dr. Kapan invited us to his home. He cooked us dinner, met with us individually about our papers, and captured us with his stories about a culture I learned so much about in 15 weeks. By the end of the course, I understood what intrinsic motivation felt like, and that's when it hit me. That Professor Shung, he was right. It's not about the A. It's about so much more. It was about broadening my thinking, meaningfully engaging with peers and professors, and my own growth as a human. I did not learn everything in that course, and I didn't have all the answers. I learned so much more. I learned that struggle is a down payment on success. Success is not about the A. Even though I didn't have all those answers, I realized I belonged here. While all of those memories are related to academics, your Juniata chapter, it will consist of stories beyond the classroom. During my time here, I sang in the choir, I swam on the swim team. And when you think about those experiences, it's the people. It's the people who remain at the forefront of my mind. It's the people who cheered for me as I dove off the block, clapped for the choir, and proofread my papers and gave me the real feedback, the critical feedback. These were the people who showed up. These were the people who had my back. Like my roommate of 3 years, Ange Montag. She lifted me up then, and she continues to do that today. She celebrates my successes and listens and is present during challenging and difficult times. The emotional connections that you build here don't end when you walk across the stage at commencement. When those 4 years come to an end, I promise you, the Juniata journey persists. Here's one final example. After I graduated from Juniata College, I set out to make my mark on the world as a special education teacher. I loved teaching. I taught students how to read, solve math problems, make friends. They're skills I learned right over in Good Hall. I was passionate about my chosen career, and one random day, an email from a former Juniata College professor, Dr. Ellen Long, popped into my inbox. She said, "Katie, this opportunity is for you." I paused. Dr. Long thinks I can go to graduate school, become a professor, and train teachers? Gosh, in that moment, I felt like she knew me more than I knew me. That professor, that email, changed the trajectory of my life. I didn't attend Juniata College to become a professor, yet here I am. So as your story unfolds, be ready for and open to the edits that may come. I recognize that the names I mentioned are likely unknown to you at this time, but I share them for 2 reasons. Number 1, they helped shape the human that I am, just as members of this community want to do for you. And number 2, these people are a part of Juniata's history. They are the ones that make it a home. You see, while my own voice created the chapter that I shared with you today, my story has so many contributing authors. For my final words this afternoon, I know I speak for all of us when I say, welcome home, and we invite you to be your authentic self. We know this is an ever-evolving process and hope that you feel this is an encouraging and safe space for you to grow and write your own story's words. Take advantage of all that Juniata has to offer. Get involved. Get outside your comfort zone. Get to know people. Navigate spaces that are unfamiliar to you. And in closing, while we are all here together today, today is the day where you, members of the class of 2028, get to put pen to paper and start your Juniata story. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hildebrand. I'm now pleased to welcome to the mic Derek James, our Dean of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. After 16 years at Penn State University, where he was actively engaged in educational equity work, he joined us at Juniata about a year ago and has demonstrated in that time a tremendous capacity for empathy, active listening, a clarity of purpose, and a deep commitment to fostering a sense of belonging for us all. In addition to his keen interest in equity and education, he's also an avid outdoors person with a special affinity for birding. And so he captures, I think, the essence of what it means to be a Juniatian. Please join me in welcoming Dean Derek James.
Need a little more height. Good afternoon, Juniata students. Welcome. My name is Derek James. I'm Dean of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion here at Juniata. It's great to be able to speak to you today. Yesterday was an awesome experience being able to see you all engage in what we have brought to campus a few times called a Braver Angels debate. Hearing your voices yesterday was a great moment in my year and a few month journey here. And so I just want to thank you for engaging in that. So I hope you all are excited. As I've said to many students before, some of you might be scared, some of you may be nervous, some of you wouldn't be able to tell me if I asked you how you feel today. Keep in mind, that just lets us know you're ready. And sometimes you gotta do stuff scared. So let's get ready in that way. I was new to Juniata recently, and will be for the next 2 to 3 years. I tell people that it takes 3 years to be a veteran at that place. That said, in this first year or so, I felt like this is a place I can bring my best self every day. Soon, if not already, I hope you all feel the same way. So belonging is defined as the feeling of security and support when there is a sense of acceptance, inclusion, and identity for any member and every member of the group. It is when an individual can bring their authentic self to school, work, wherever they may be, and we feel belonging the most in the moments that matter to us in our places of learning and working. So for those of you who are just hearing about the traditions of Juniata, mark your calendars for chances to have fun with your fellow classmates and Juniatians. Go to Lobster Fest for the steak or the lobster or the vegan option, but also stop by a few clubs and organizations on the way. Try to guess when Mountain Day is. When is it? Tomorrow. Go to the sporting events. Spend time in Staten Learning Commons to study or just to have a meeting with your fellow students, or grab a flatbread pizza or boba tea. All of these moments matter in helping you become a member of our ever-growing community of learners, staff, faculty, administrators, and alumni. I've heard from many Juniatians that those traditions help create a path to feeling like Juniata was a place for them to be. I've been able to speak to a lot of Juniatians this year, and over the last few months I've ended the talk by asking, what are the moments that mattered for you? How did you know Juniata was a place that you wanted to attend school or become a valuable member of our faculty or staff? What I found is that all of them mentioned many moments that mattered to them. During an alumni meeting in the spring, more than one person stated that they felt they belonged at the moment they went into Baker. Paraphrasing, we came from a big family and the choices were limited. So the fact that I could have chicken nuggets or cereal for dinner was the best thing ever. Many current and former students mentioned relationships with faculty and staff members. Our faculty and staff play a vital role, and we've won awards for the engagement of our faculty with our students. It is a strength of ours, and for you first-year students, you will undoubtedly benefit from that. As expected, a reoccurring moment that mattered was finding a club or an organization that matched those needs or hobbies of the students, from poetry to subject matter areas like chemistry or math to opportunity to engage with the community or build community. Finding a club is a great way to feel connected. Moreover, finding people who understand you and vice versa can make a foreign place feel like home. Another important moment was connection of one person who was willing to make another feel like they belonged, making sure they had what they needed. For students, some of your RAs may fill that role. Student leaders may fill this role. For staff and faculty, some of our peers and colleagues across campus have filled that role. Lastly, for many, it was their first visits to campus and the people they met during orientation. They were always important to our community and being a member and feeling like you belonged. A study was done by McKinsey & Co. that outlined the moments that matter, and each of those moments matches with what has been said in these conversations. We find our moments during recruitment, so when you found us, when you came to visit our campus. During onboarding, which is your orientation, and things like Convocation. Skill development, you will find a lot of your good moments in classrooms, in the activities, and as you're learning. By understanding your role, being as a student, as an athlete, as someone who's a musician. As you find recognition, so getting awards for what you do, and in living life, your personal growth and your ability to live and do the things that you love. And when you find those things, keep up with those things. Finally, transitioning your successful matriculation after 4 years with a foundation created through making the best of the moments that mattered and feeling like you belonged along the way. What you realize is at the heart of Juniata are people who want to see you succeed, people who want to make sure you have what you need, and people who will strive in those efforts at every level. We will endeavor to make sure your moments that matter help to create a strong sense of belonging. We want those moments to ensure that you feel accepted and secure, and ultimately, the more you feel like you matter, the more you feel like you belong, then you will be able to do well and be well. So new members of the Juniata community, your moment, if you haven't already had it, is waiting for you. It requires your engagement, your bringing your best self every day, and understanding that we are in this together. I'll leave you with a short quote from Maya Angelou. I long, as does every human being, to be home wherever I find myself. Have a wonderful year.
That's thinking of it. Thank you, Dean James. Please join me in thanking all our speakers today for sharing their wisdom, insight, and kindness with you. I trust you will carry their words and the feelings they have conveyed with you, as all of them have made clear in various ways that you belong here. Before concluding this opening convocation, I would like to pause and express our collective gratitude to the many people who assisted in preparing for this event, especially Marisa Faust in the Office of the Provost, Dr. Kathy Westcott for serving as our faculty marshal, and our stellar college organist, Dr. John Bukowski. Thanks as well to Danny Erdley and Aaron Pascal for their considerable efforts in organizing your new student transitions program, and to Kristen Kamiga for ensuring that you could meet your academic advisor over lunch yesterday. And I also want to recognize your faculty. Their commitment, their spirit, it defines this place in so many ways. After the benediction, the platform party and the faculty will recess. Students, I would ask that you please stay in place until the faculty marshal leads you out. It is now my pleasure to call upon Sydney Gardner of the class of 2025, who will lead us in singing the alma mater. After the alma mater, please remain standing for the benediction and the recessional. Sydney.
As we go, hear the ending of Kate Bowler's blessing for moments like these. In our leaving, in our arriving, in our changes expected or shocking, may we be surprised with who we become. In this new year, as we become together the community of Juniata College, may you be blessed, because we are certainly blessed to welcome you. Go in joy, curiosity, courage, and hope.